Yo, what's good, y'all? So, a couple of videos ago, I talked about Paul Wall coming out on stage with Meg Thee Stallion. And I just wanted to say and reiterate that it is indeed a white boy summer. All right? We got white boys doing raw stuff everywhere, bro. You got Eminem dropping an album, right? Yellow Wolf just dropped a dope album. Paul Wall's coming out on stage, killing performances. Bill Maher's punking out Charlamagne the God. Luka is in the finals. And Porzingis, before he got hurt, was tearing it up too. It's just been, and where's Jack Harlow at? You know what I mean? It's starting off, it's looking like a white boy summer, bro. I'm just letting y'all know. You know what I mean? Don't take it no type of way. It's been a while. It's been some years. But we might be having a white boy summer, bro. That's all I'm saying. But jokes aside, I wanted to pull up some of these videos of, I really wanted to pull up some videos of Charlamagne talking to Bill Maher and just go over my opinions on it. And I also wanted to cap this off with Charlamagne talking to Bill Maher. And I wanted to cap this off with Dr. Umar talking about Eminem and basically doubling down on his stance that he cannot be the GOAT because he's a white person in hip hop. I think I want to start off with Charla. So Bill Maher, for those of you that don't know, he has his own show on HBO, Real Time with Bill Maher. He has these special guests come on, and Bill Maher is a very left-leaning, well, let me not say that. He's a Democrat, a liberal, like an old school liberal, where, you know, he believes in the principalities of it, but not so much like the way people have picked it up and ran with it, like the term libtard is used today. He's not one of them. He's a liberal. He's a liberal with liberal principalities, stands on what he believes in, but he doesn't necessarily think that anybody that doesn't agree with him is just a jerk and a piece of crap. And that's the way that a lot of these left-leaning and right-leaning, super right-wing, super left-wing leaning people say. So I wanted to get into that and just kind of give y'all a taste of who Bill Maher is. And if you're watching my channel and you don't know who Charlamagne is, then I don't know what to tell you. But Charlamagne is a radio host for Hot 107, what is it? The Breakfast Club, you know. I don't know what radio station in New York that is, but he has a show with DJ Envy, and now it's Just Hilarious, and they have a radio show. And Charlamagne also has a podcast with Andrew Schultz, which is one of the funniest up and coming comedians out right now. Shout out to Andrew Schultz, he's hilarious. It's another one of them white boys that I can be proud of, like, salute. But no, it's this conversation that I want to talk about has to do with Caitlyn Clark, who I'm a huge fan of. Not just because she's white, obviously. I'm going to tell y'all, my daughter is a 10-year-old softball player. I'm a girl dad, and I want to see women's sports succeed because my daughter is in girl sports, right? And I believe in my daughter in that way, where I believe that she can supersede and do great things. But I want, you know, her to have a goal to be able to reach. I don't want her to, like, work her butt off just so she can end up making, you know, $50,000 a year playing softball or whatever she ends up playing full time. But I got into women's basketball because of Flage. Okay? Shout out to Flage. I am from Savannah, Georgia. She is from Savannah, Georgia. Her dad, Camouflage, is a legend in Savannah, Georgia. And when my page gets bigger, I'm going to do Camouflage reviews and Flage reviews to put on for the city. But right now, I'm not going to do it until I'm going to wait till my page gets bigger. You know what I mean? Till I have like 1,000 subs or whatever, and then I'm going to do some Camouflage stuff. But Camouflage is a staple in Savannah. The new generation don't know much about him, but when I was about 11, 12 years old, he was a legend already. He had legendary hits. They were playing him on the radio. He was getting signed to Cash Money / Universal. He had a song with Birdman. and everything was working out for him in a good way. And then he got killed. He got shot on right outside of his studio downtown. Flau'jae wasn't born yet, but his baby mom's was pregnant with her. So she came, and she continued to grow and grow and grow. And she had support from Boosie and people like that know about the story and a backing. And she is a good rapper. She makes great music. I'm going to do some reviews on her music. And she's a baller, bro. She's a killer. She's a killer on that court. She plays for the LSU. So when I heard that LSU was going to the championship 2 years ago, I was like, all right, bet. I got to see Flau'jae. And I fell in love with Flau'jae and Angel Reese and the way that they played together, and that's who I was rooting for. So I was rooting against Caitlyn Clark at that point in time. The following year, when they played South Carolina, that's when I wanted to see Caitlyn Clark win. Because it's her last year. She's a baller too, bro. Killer. Steph Curry of women. Like, make it rain from anywhere. She's a beast. And men, there's not a lot of men that want no problems with Caitlyn Clark. I can promise you. So I'm a fan of Caitlyn Clark. I'm a fan of Flau'jae. I'm a fan of women's sports. I'm a fan of Angel Reese, even though Angel Reese and Caitlyn Clark don't seem to get along with each other. It's just going to be a long-time rivalry, especially in women's sports. So essentially what we have here, what we're about to dive into is, well, let's just pull it up, and I'm going to let y'all see for yourselves. Bill Maher talking to Charlamagne about Caitlyn Clark getting special treatment versus a girl from South Carolina that Charlamagne thought should have had the same treatment. And Bill Maher really trips him up here. Yeah, I needed to get a sip of my water real quick. All right. So let's see Bill Maher and Charlamagne talk about Caitlyn Clark.
But you don't think it's a problem that this young woman, there's so many examples where, black people are very marketable.
Well, ask yourself this.
It's important to mark right there. Black people are very marketable. Jordan, LeBron, Steph Curry, Tiger Woods. The list goes on and on. Rappers, musicians. So I think Bill Maher is just coming out the gate that's not the problem. The problem isn't that you aren't marketable, but that is indeed what the South Carolina girl said. I think that she might have just misspoke on and didn't enunciate her point very well.
She seems to have been indoctrinated into this. They don't see it as marketable, so it doesn't matter how hard I work.
Well,
I don't think that's accurate or healthy. When people come into the league and they're like the biggest thing in college, isn't that a big deal?
No, because Angel Wilson was the biggest thing when she came out of South Carolina. That's where I'm from. So she was one of the biggest things when she came out of South Carolina, #1 draft pick. And she didn't get all of that. So what do you attribute that to?
I want to say something here before Bill Maher even responds. And Bill Maher, Charlamagne, he's not being a jackass or anything like that. He's just asking, what do you attribute that to? I attribute it to, it's not because Caitlyn Clark is white, so she's more marketable. Caitlyn Clark is a better ball player, bro. She is. She's a better ball player. Angel Reese has the same and had the same type of recognition as Caitlyn Clark did. Angel Reese has a whole bunch of deals outside of the WNBA, and she's very marketable. Flau'jae is very marketable. This girl saying that, I forget her name, but saying that she's not marketable, so what's the point of even putting in hard work? That mentality alone is one of the reasons why you're not going to see major success.
You're saying that's racism?
No, I'm not saying it's racist. I'm just saying that I think Angel Wilson has a point. And I think sometimes when black women say certain things, we should listen, especially her, because I'm not in her shoes.
I don't know, but why was Serena Williams such a big star? Because people...
that pretty much hangs that hat up. You know what I mean? Why was Serena Williams such a big star?
Like that. They didn't not watch her because she was black, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
So where are we with this?
I don't know. I'm just sitting back observing the conversation, but I do think...
Well, you're in the conversation. What do you mean?
I'm not a woman.
You're in this conversation.
All right. So the way that Charlamagne is going to try to redeem himself in this situation is he's going to say that my thoughts, my beliefs, my opinions don't matter in a world of black women or women, and we need to listen to these women. Now, I don't necessarily disagree with what he's saying. I do believe that we should listen to women, right? I do believe that women, that's not all. And that pulled up a bad clip, but there's another clip of them talking about women being faced with inequality. So I'm gonna pull that up real quick too. Let me find it. Okay, shame. Can't find it. Can't find the extra part of that clip, but I'm sure that y'all have already seen it. So I do want to kind of touch on it, where Bill Maher is essentially saying, like, Caitlyn, it's not a race thing, and it's not like a women inequality thing. It's just gotten to a point where it's not like that in our country anymore. Maybe in the 70s, in the 50s, and he was quoting somebody that said, can we just move forward? It's something to celebrate. We should move forward and quit pretending like women don't have the same opportunities that men do in 2024. It's just not the way our country works anymore. Or that black people don't have the same opportunities, or whatever he was trying to allude to. And Charlamagne kind of got statued. Like, he was just kind of like, I don't know. You know what I mean? And that's rare for Charlamagne. Charlamagne always has something to say. And I found it intriguing. Now, whereas I believe that if you grow up in a project building with no father present in your home, you're not going to have the same opportunities as somebody that grows up with a father and a mother together, prevalent in the home, bringing up their family with that family dynamic, which just brings more importance to the nuclear family. That's important. But it's also a Christian basis, right? Like, it's the Christian way of doing things in Western civilization. Whenever we get married to a woman and we have kids with this woman, stay with this woman forever in a monogamous relationship, and we raise our kids together, and I go out and work, and I provide for my family spiritually, physically, financially, and I protect them, and I'm the priest of my household. These are things that come from biblical direction, right? So I think as the Western civilization tries to go against the current of biblical principles, at the same time, I feel like that's why you're seeing issues with people growing up without fathers in the home. That's why you're seeing issues with people facing trauma and PTSDs and not being able to have the same opportunities as their fellow friends. And these are part of the issues that we see. So this is going to bring us into the next segment of this video, wherever Bill Maher actually talks to Charlamagne about reparations. And this is where it gets pretty good, to be honest with you. All right, so let's get into that.
Last month, the Biden administration said, speaking of money, they want to study reparations. Study it. Compensate descendants of slaves for unpaid labor by their...
Study reparations. Sounds crazy. Now, I want to put in perspective here, right? Like, when I'm younger, and racism was, racism, it was a thing, especially where I grew up at, like, before I moved to the inner part of Savannah. When I want to say 10 years old to like 12 years old, I saw a lot of racism because I was in the sticks, like the boonies of sticks. And I saw real racism, man. I even saw black people that were truly racist towards their own kind. Like, I've seen real racist behavior. And it made me disgusted by it, obviously. I mean, I never understood it. I still don't understand it. I don't understand, like, the principalities behind it. I don't understand why people would feel any type of way about somebody just based off the color of their skin at all. But it happens. It still happens today. I don't understand reparations in full. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and act like I have really a leg to stand on here. I don't know. I don't know enough about it, man. I really don't. So, first of all, for the Biden administration to say anything at this point in time, I feel like it's fraudulent and it's fake and it's just to get voters. I just saw a post from him earlier today where he said, I'm going to show it to you. It says 0% inflation in the month of May. Check this out. You can't make this stuff up, dude. 0% inflation for the month of May. Oh, where's this at? 0. Right here. 0. That was monthly inflation in May. I'm reading this backwards. So there's more to do. There's more to do, but this is welcome progress. That's a lie. That's a literal lie. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just kind of ridiculous. So, I don't know, man. I feel like everything that they do is just literally for voters. And I think politically, like, no matter what side of the fence you stand on, and I hate to be that cliche guy, but I'm that guy that stands on the side of the fence of like, yeah, I'll make some good points over here, but I don't like none of that. And y'all made some good points over here, but I don't like none of that. It's like equal, y'all got some good points, both of y'all lie about everything, and I don't really rock with either side in full. I really don't, just being honest. And as a Christian, I believe that my goal is to be Christ-like, and I don't really think Jesus would rock with either side like that either. I think Jesus was very non-political. I think that he stood against, he stood against the Pharisees, stood against the Pharisees, stood against, you get what I'm saying? Stood against the Roman soldiers. He just wasn't politically correct, is what I'm trying to say. So I just think politics is crap. I don't think that either side is telling the truth about anything. I think that the main goal right now needs to be to make America more affordable for everybody to live, because right now it's hard out here for a pimp. You know what I mean?
Ancestors, Jen Psaki, the press spokesman, said, we'll see what happens in the legislative process. I'm curious where you are on this issue. I mean, there's a collective guilt that's asking individuals to recompense. I think that's how we would frame that.
That boy uses some big words, man. Can we just have a conversation without using the craziest big words of all time? Like, I get it. It sounds good and all that, but
listen,
dang.
I think reparations have to happen for black people. You know what I mean? Because slavery was America's original sin. And I really don't think no good is going to come to this country until they atone for their original sin, which was slavery. I mean, my ancestors literally built this country for free. So when you see all of this money being thrown around, you know, $27 trillion in national debt, $1.7 trillion for failed F-35 fighter jets.
$500,000 for dogs.
$500,000 for fucking dogs. It's like if you're black in this country, you have to be like, well, what the hell? What's up with us? You know what I mean? So for me personally,
but again,
I don't even what the issue is.
The issue is that that's the collective guilt, but individual white people are saying, I didn't do it, and my ancestors didn't even do it, and you are not your ancestors. I'm
a descendant of those ancestors.
I know, but okay.
Hey, listen, when a debt is old, period.
But you've got a lot of money, so you say you should get more.
Should I get more?
Well, no, you should get a check.
Yes, I'm 97% West African, born in Charleston, South Carolina, so I should definitely get a check. But if it's to the point where, you know what, you make too much money, we don't think you deserve it, cool, give it to somebody who needs it. But to act like black people in this country don't deserve reparations is absolutely nuts to me. Hey, this is what I want. Put it like this, America. Just treat black people like they're F-35 fighter jets. You had $1.7 trillion to throw at that bullshit. Throw it at the people who actually built this country.
I think that Bill Maher is about to grill my dog, and I love Charlamagne, just so that y'all know. I do love Charlamagne. But I think he's about to get grilled. But I do stand, sorry y'all, I got a text from my wife just then. But I understand what he's saying. I mean, it's this kind of the same, like, I have a lot of people in my life that have the strongest Republican views. Like, if you even mention the word Democrat, that's the devil. And then I have people in my life that are all the way left. Like, anything right is crazy to them. That's why I'm so middle grounded, because I just associate with so many different types of people, and I converse with so many different types of people, and I hear the ideology behind so many types of people, so many different creeds, so many different colors, so many different religions. I'm a salesman. I talk to so many different types of people. I literally have personal relationships with white people, black people, Indian. It stretches and stretches and stretches, and I don't understand why racism was ever even a thing. Like, I hate you because of the color of your skin. That sounds so crazy to me. But it is a thing, and it's taught. It's taught to generations to come. But I do understand what Charlamagne is saying here, and I don't want to get away from that point too far, because I feel like whenever I have those conversations with my right-leaning friends and family, where I'm like, well, there's probably a way that we could do some sort of free healthcare, right? I think so. If we can do X, Y, and Z, and my tax dollars can go to this and it can go to that, and we can sell grapes for $3.80 per grape, basically. Like, you get what I'm saying? There's ways that we can make it happen. Like, let's say everyone in America just gave $20 a paycheck to free healthcare. How much of that would be reciprocated and brought back from, like, the Medicaid and Social Security stuff that we pay out of our checks anyway? I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to know. I don't have a leg to stand on here. I'm just saying these are the ideas that I have, right? Where I'm like, if we can throw money at this and we can throw money at that, I feel like we could collectively throw money at something that we all agree that we should have. You know what I mean? So I understand what Charlamagne is saying here. Like, if you're willing to throw all this money at jets, and you're willing to throw all this money over here, and you're willing to throw money at these dogs over here, like, why can't y'all just throw us a reparation check? But the problem is like Bill Maher is saying, most of us don't believe that that check is owed. Like, this is what I'll tell you, Charlamagne. As much as I agree with what you're saying and I understand your standpoint, I also don't feel like I owe you a thing. I'm just being honest. I don't think that Nelson Hill owes Charlamagne the God a dime. I don't think I owe anybody a dime outside of my family, who I've sworn in to protect and provide for. I don't think that I owe anybody anything. So I'm interested to see what Bill Maher is going to say here.
But
I don't see how anybody can dispute that.
But again, you didn't build this country.
So what?
You personally did.
So what? I'm just saying.
But I'm saying we can't write a check to a ghost. You know.
Why not?
Why not? Because, you know.
Especially when the ghost's descendants are still
that's a
here.
Okay.
I can already tell that Charlamagne's kind of trembling a little bit and doesn't know what to say. I mean, why not? Why can't you write a check to a ghost? Are we talking about make-believe stuff, or are we talking about, like, and this is the problem. This is the problem with anything, and why nothing can really get done, is because you have these activists and these people that pretend to be activists, and they have this super strong-willed opinion, and they are a voice of the people, and they spread this narrative around, and they make people believe that what they're saying is right, and that's the only way. And then you get out here and you say something like, why not? When Bill Maher asks, we can write a check to Ghost? Yeah, why not? You got to be stronger than that, bro. Like, you have to have stronger points than that, especially if you're talking about something like this. Like, I'm not even opposed to it, but I don't feel like I owe you anything. And I think that that's the issue, is that Charlamagne specifically feels like he is owed something.
Listen, let me ask you a question. How do you right the wrong of slavery then?
Well, I mean, I think reparations can come in many forms.
Why not cash is king? It's America.
No, I agree. I mean, I think reparations do come in many forms. We should be spending much more on the schools that serve black children. We should be spending much more on the infrastructure in predominantly black communities. We should be doing all sorts of things to close the opportunity gap, which is enormous and which we've done a terrible job closing.
I like what he's saying. That's dope. That's true. But if I was to answer Charlamagne's question here, I would say, why is it my responsibility to make right of what these people did all this time ago that I don't even know? Why do I have to atone for their sins? Why do I have to atone for their mistakes? Secondly, that's not even in my principality set list. Like, I believe in biblical scripture. I believe Jesus paid the penalty for everybody. I don't know, man. It's a thin rope this dude's walking on.
A debt is owed, and that's one of the ways you repay it.
Simple as
The
that.
problem I have with the reparations conversation is the questions you were asking a moment ago. It's practical.
It's like a debt is owed, but who is the debt owed by, right? Like, let me ask you this. If right now, Nelson Hill, if I found out that I'm dying in 2 weeks, like I get cancer and I'm going to pass, I have 2 weeks to live, and I just want a Lamborghini and I want to get the biggest house, and I just go out and I borrow a bunch of money. Let's say I rack up $1 million and I buy a new house and I buy this car, and I can't really afford it because I make you know, let's say I make $100,000 a year and I rack up all this money and I owe it and then I die, do y'all think that it would be right? Do y'all think that it would be right not for my children, but do y'all think it would be right for my great grandchildren to still have to pay off that debt? Is that their fault? Is it something that they should have to make right? And if you think so, then salute. Fair game.
Practically a non-starter. I mean, in terms of practicality, no one's going to agree on the terms. No one's going to agree exactly on the eligibility criteria. Nobody's going to agree on the amount.
That's a
and
problem.
It's politically
Yeah.
very unpopular. And while we're talking about something that I don't think is passable, and that's why Obama didn't talk about it.
Why is it
in
not
office.
passable, though?
What?
Why is it not passable?
Look at public opinion polls. It's just not going to get done. And that's not about the merits. That's about the appeal out there. And in the meantime, there's so much we can and should be doing that could be called reparations about the debt we owe.
Well, let's change the name. Call it economic equity packages. Whatever it is, as he said, a debt is
you
owed.
could say
That's not a
Obamacare
bad idea.
would-
That's not a bad idea. Change the name. Like, don't call it reparations. Economic equality packages. You might be onto something there, Charla. And like I said, like, I'm not even against it. I just don't. I'm not the one you have to sell on it. You know.
which helped black and brown people way more than white people. Obviously, all people can sign up for Obamacare, but that is the practical effect of it, is a form of reparations. You know, I mean, there's a tax that everybody pays. I don't think it's capped.
Obamacare is what
rich
he's talking
people
about.
pay more. Those kind of solutions are different. I mean, listen to me what Glenn Lowry says. He says, it frames the moral claims African Americans legitimately have in the wrong way. The idea this debt can be paid is a terrible idea. That's his.
Here's the thing. Once again, it's white people not wanting to be held accountable.
Well, that's a black person.
Well, he's okay. A black person.
Glenn
said that.
Lowry said that.
Okay,
Ooh.
what's his name?
Glenn Lowry.
Ooh, that didn't look good. That didn't look good. But it's not, as a white man, trying to give the benefit of the doubt here. As a white man trying to give the benefit of the doubt here, I will say that it's not that I don't want to be held accountable. It's just that I don't think I should be held accountable for what the upper echelons did many, many years ago. That's just my thoughts. Let's see.
You know Glenn Lowry.
Well, I just think that it's a debt that is owed to black people in America. Simple. And I'll ask the question, if y'all don't think it should be cash, what should it be? If y'all don't think it should be, if there should be any reparations to black people, what should it be?
All right. So
But see, we just totally skipped over, like, I believe that a debt is owed. Okay? But what if you're the only one in the room that believes that a debt is owed? Which he's not, but what if you are, right? Like, if we stack it up against the whole country, like we do votes, like we vote for a presidency, right? And let's say that 10% of our entire country thinks that there should be reparations, but 90% believes that there shouldn't be. Then does that still make you right? You know what I mean? And I'm not in a position to be able to tell you whether something is right or wrong here. I really don't know. I don't really have a strong opinion on it. If our country came out tomorrow and the leaders of our country said 0.8% of your paycheck, let's say $10, let's put a dollar amount on it. $10 a week is coming out of your paycheck to go towards reparations over the next 2 years. I would be cool. I'm cool with that. I don't have an issue with that. But if I live check to check and every check I get paid, I'm just paying a bill, or I'm paying my bills with said check, and maybe all I have left over at the end of every check is $20, right? And I like to get a pack of smokes and a 6-pack with my $20. You know what I mean? Or whatever the case may be. If that's all I got left at the end of my check, and I don't believe that I owe you anything, I'm going to be willing to fight over that $20. You get what I'm saying? So that's kind of where the issue resides. It's not necessarily like people don't want to take accountability. It's just like, you got to realize, bro, some people can't even afford it. Even if they had an open view like I do, I have an open view because I'm privileged enough to have an open view. Well, let me not say privileged. I am privileged, but I'm blessed enough to be able to have an open view on it. Like, I'd be cool with that. But that's just one man, right? And I don't face those struggles at the end of every paycheck. Thank God. It's because I work 65, 70 hours a week and I have 2 different jobs, and I just grind because I want to make sure that my family is taken care of. But if I didn't have 2 jobs and all I could afford to work was just this one job, let's say that my wife isn't here and I have these 2 girls on my own, I'm not going to be willing to give you $5 out of my paycheck. You get what I'm saying? Because when you're in those situations, which a lot of our country is in those situations right now, you're not going to have an open mind to anything because you're struggling so hard yourself.
No, I want to know, do you think that black people should get reparations?
I think it should be more like what Frank and I are saying. Different, not a check. No, I think it should be done more by class. I mean, 21% of blacks are below the poverty line. So that means we're giving checks to 80% of people who are not in poverty. Shouldn't it better be done that? If we're going to pass out money, that's not what I was starting the show with. If we're going to pass out money, let's pass it out to
the poor and disenfranchised.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, and
100%.
is a
I agree with that.
one-time check going to change a life as much as a real investment in education, as much as a real investment in young people's social programs?
I think it should be.
That's real. But I'm going to tell y'all something. None of this is going to make a dent, and none of this is going to matter like the nuclear family would. So like, yeah, you can put more money into the school system. You can push more into making sure that poor people have better educations in the public school systems and this and that and the third. But the main issue is that fathers and mothers aren't together raising the nuclear family as a unit. You have baby mamas, you got baby daddies that have different baby mamas that have different baby daddies. And it like that saying, it takes a village, like, and what's even worse is most of them, they're not even getting along with each other. So it's just like, I hate her because I have to pay her $500 a week for my 2 kids over here, and she's taking $500 a week out of my paychecks, and she ain't even letting me see my kids. It's stuff like that. Like these are real life issues that we need to face and look at now. And the way out of that is, in my opinion, the nuclear family, following that biblical structure that Jesus and God has presented to us and gave us a way of life that has always worked and always done well for people until people started to break out of that element. So
I think a debt is owed, and I have no problem paying it in cash. I'm just talking about where the money goes to help the most number of people the quickest.
Yeah, I think it should be all of that simply because there is really no price point that you could put on reparations for slavery. Like none. Like there's no number you can put on what my ancestors went through in this country.
Yeah.
that is true. I mean, I don't hate what he's saying there either. You can't put a number on that. That's another issue, right? It's like, I don't want to atone for what my forefathers did to your forefather. I don't want to atone for that because I would never do that. And what they did was disgusting and distasteful and ugly and ratchet and sick. And I don't understand it. I don't understand why they would do it. But like I said, man, here's the big if, right? If you told me that if we did reparations, right, and let's say just forever, right? Like, let's say $10 out of your paycheck forever goes into reparations of some sort, right? Does that fix anything? Because that's the thing too, right? Like, as I would like to see the problems be faced with solutions, not that. This is kind of like you have the flu and you take some ibuprofen to bring your fever down a little bit, but you still have the flu. Even though you took the ibuprofen and your fever came down, it might make you feel a little bit better, but you still have the flu. And I think that that's kind of my issue in this, is like, if we do this, even if we do it forever, like, does that change anything? And if I did feel like, and if the world, if black culture, Charlamagne, if black culture, white culture, if we all just felt like, hey, this could change everything, then I would be super for it. But I don't believe that that's what changes things. I believe that nuclear family, a father and a mother being together under God, raising a family together under the structure of the Lord, under biblical principles, I believe that that is what our country is missing. And if we can just get back to that, and we can get back rooted in that, then all of these problems will start to, they'll dissipate, bro. They won't matter anymore, because everybody will be living under the Lord's will. And I think that that's a big issue that we're facing today, is like, if you're not living under the Lord's will, you're living under the enemy's will. And if you're living under the enemy's will and you don't even realize that there's an enemy, then we have a major problem at hand. And I think that that's the biggest issue that we face today. But hey, like I said, man, I would do it. I would do it. But let's say that I didn't work. Like I said, let's say I didn't work 2 jobs and I only got $20 left over after every paycheck, because I'm paying my baby mama over here and I'm paying for my bills over here. And all I want at the end of the week is just my cigarettes and my beer, right? And I got that $20 drop right there. That man, and there's a lot of them, like a high percentage. If that person has to give up $10 out of his 20 that he's got left over, good luck. That's all I'm saying. It's just good luck. But yeah, I thought this was good. This was a good monologue, man. And I would like to, or not monologue, good commentary. I would like to see more of it. I would like to see more white people talking to black people about white people and black people problems. So I salute Charlamagne. I'm a big fan of Charlamagne. I'm a big fan of Andrew Schultz. I like Bill Maher too. They're just entertainment to me. I don't listen to any of their ideologies and go, ooh, yeah, I need to live my life the way they're living their lives, which is what they think they have in their positions. But they think that they have power like that, and they do over a large amount of people, unfortunately. But this is my take. Don't listen to Bill Maher. Don't listen to Charlamagne. Go and formulate your own opinions based off of your spirituality, your guidance, and your mental, based off of what's around you. That's what you should do. Quit paying attention to these media people and look into them like they're some sort of superheroes that are going to give you a saving grace. They're not. So either way, man, appreciate y'all. Like and subscribe if you're new. Thank y'all for watching, and I will see you on the next one. I think I got one left today that we'll do a little bit later on, where we got to get into Dr. Umar. So yeah, if you want to hear my takes on Dr. Umar, make sure you hit subscribe and like, because that'll be uploaded a little bit later on this evening. And check out some more of my videos and my shorts, man. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all. Peace.